It was one of those chilly, gray afternoons when the world feels heavier than usual. The kind of day where everyone seems to be rushing, heads down, wrapped in their own worries. At a small corner of downtown, a woman sat on the cold sidewalk, her shoulders shaking not from the cold, but from tears she couldn't stop. Her purse was empty, her shoes worn thin, and the weight of life's burdens pressed down on her like a mountain. She was invisible to the busy world around her, or so she thought then. Out of the blur of hurried pedestrians, someone paused. Not a handout, not a quick glance, but a real, human moment. A stranger stopped and looked at her, really looked. And in that tiny pause, something shifted. Before we dive deeper, I want to invite you to join our community here at Kindness Story Hub. If you enjoy heartfelt stories that show how even the smallest acts can change lives, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. You never know, your kindness might inspire someone today. Her name was Emily, a single mother who had recently lost her job. The bills were piling up, her little apartment was cold and bare, and every day felt like a battle she wasn't winning. On that afternoon, she found herself walking the streets with her head down, trying to hold back the tears, when hunger pangs reminded her she hadn't eaten since breakfast. She didn't want to beg, didn't want to feel the sting of judgment, but desperation was starting to take over. Meanwhile, Jake, a young man in his late 20s, had just finished his shift at a small cafe a block away. He had a sandwich in hand, and as he walked past Emily, he noticed her sitting quietly on the curb. Something in her eyes made him stop. He could see the exhaustion, the heartbreak, the silent plea that people usually ignored. Without overthinking, he walked over and offered her the sandwich. I made too much, Jake said, holding out the paper-wrapped lunch. Would you like it? Emily looked up, startled, and then shook her head. I couldn't. I can't take this from you. Jake smiled gently. It's okay. Really, I insist. No strings attached. She hesitated, but hunger won over pride. She took the sandwich, tears threatening again, and whispered, "Thank you." That small gesture, seemingly insignificant in a bustling city full of people, became the first thread in a chain of events that no one could have predicted. Jake didn't just walk away after that. He asked Emily if she wanted to sit with him for a minute while he finished his coffee. Reluctantly, she agreed. As they sat on a nearby bench, talking softly, Emily shared bits of her story. How she had been a teacher for years before her school closed. How she had tried every job she could find but kept hitting dead ends. How she had recently fallen behind on rent, and the fear of losing her home loomed over her every night. Jake listened without judgment, offering only warmth, encouragement, and a smile. By the time Emily finished speaking, the rain had started to drizzle. Jake noticed she didn't have an umbrella, so he offered his. Together, they walked down the street, sharing the small shelter from the rain. To Emily, it felt like stepping into a world that had, until then, seemed so cold and unforgiving. The next day, Jake returned to the cafe, but he couldn't stop thinking about Emily. He decided to see if she was still in the area, hoping to offer some practical help beyond the sandwich. He found her at a local community center, where she had been attending a free workshop on job skills. He introduced himself again, this time with a plan. "I don't know if this will help," he said, "but I work with a few small business owners in town. They're looking for someone organized and reliable, qualities I can tell you have in spades. Would you like me to connect you?" Emily's eyes widened. She hadn't expected this. The kindness of yesterday had opened a door she didn't even know was there. With Jake's help, she applied for a position at a boutique marketing firm. The interview was nerve-wracking, but she found that the confidence Jake had helped her find gave her the courage to speak clearly and honestly. 2 days later, she got the job, but the story doesn't end there. Emily, now employed, began to regain her independence. She found a small apartment and could finally breathe again. She never forgot the young man who had given her more than just a sandwich. He had given her hope. And she decided that once she was back on her feet, she would pay it forward. A few weeks later, Emily started volunteering at the same community center where she had once felt invisible. She helped other people who were struggling with job applications, resume writing, and even emotional support. The kindness Jake had shown her had become a ripple effect, reaching dozens of people who were quietly suffering. One evening, during a volunteer session, Emily met a woman who reminded her painfully of her own situation a month ago. She didn't hesitate this time. She offered a warm smile, a listening ear, and practical advice. She remembered the words Jake had said, "No strings attached, just human to human." And she practiced them fully, not knowing that one of the small acts she performed would soon circle back in an unexpected way. Months passed. Emily's life was stabilizing, and her hope for the future was stronger than ever. One morning, she received a letter in the mail. It was from a young girl she had helped at the community center, someone she had tutored in math and encouraged to apply for a summer program. The letter was simple: "Dear Emily, thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Because of your help, I got into the program and met amazing people. I hope one day I can help someone the way you helped me." Emily cried as she read it. She realized the chain of kindness that started with a single sandwich and a shared umbrella had grown far beyond what she or Jake could have imagined. Then, one day, the twist no one expected happened. Emily was walking home from work when she saw a familiar face approaching. It was Jake, carrying coffee this time, with a shy smile and the same warmth in his eyes. "I thought I'd check in," he said. "See how you're doing." Emily laughed softly, shaking her head. "Better than I ever imagined. You have no idea what your kindness started." Jake shrugged. "Maybe not. But I have an idea it's not over yet." From that moment, they became more than strangers, more than friends. Their bond grew from shared humanity, empathy, and the understanding that even the smallest gestures could change the course of a life. In a world that often feels rushed and indifferent, they discovered something extraordinary: that kindness is contagious, powerful, and transformative. It's amazing how a single act, a simple choice to reach out and care, can ripple outward in ways no one expects. That sandwich, that shared umbrella, that gentle encouragement, each one was a seed. And from that seed grew hope, opportunity, and even love. Emily often thought back to that gray, rainy day when she had felt invisible and alone. She realized that kindness isn't just about money, or grand gestures, or perfect timing. It's about noticing someone, seeing them fully, and offering something that says, "You matter. I see you." In the end, the story reminds us that no act of kindness is too small. A word, a smile, a simple lunch, or even the patience to listen can be life-changing. Sometimes, the effects aren't immediate. Sometimes, they unfold over months, or years, or even a lifetime. But every time we choose kindness, we start a chain that could touch countless lives, in ways we can't even imagine. So, the next time you walk past someone struggling, pause. Smile. Offer help, even in the smallest way. The world might be busy, the days might be gray, but your small act could be the spark that lights up someone's entire life. Just like it did for Emily, and just like it did for Jake, because in the end, kindness doesn't just change the lives of those who receive it, it transforms the givers, too. And sometimes, one small act of kindness leads to an ending no one expected, an ending full of hope, warmth, and the promise that the world is a little brighter because we chose to care.